Welcome, we are,
The Japetheists?
and this is our opinion. These are our opinions.
No, you could say this is our opinion. Our implies that it's both of us.
So basically, I wanted to talk about, from my point of view, that I think not blaming religious people for religion is compounding a problem that is significantly large. I mean, we both understand that, to a degree, when you have such a barbaric, fundamentalist view of reality, it seems to be that it limits your ability for reason and taking in new ideas, and that's the problem that I generally have. Now, the reason I think that you should blame religious people as well for this is because they're propagating an idea. When you are part of an organization that has near criminal ideas, and you tell people that they shouldn't judge you because you have these ideas, or you hold these ideas so true to your heart, how do you expect people to take it when this is what the doctrine that you believe in calls for? And I understand no one alive today did the Crusades, just like no atheist or no Catholic was responsible for Hitler nowadays. But people like to throw these things up to you, and it's insulting, for one, to the people who suffered from these events, but to use them so callously, you know what I mean? So willingly just to throw these traumatic events at people like that's their fault. It's absurd. However, I'm an atheist, and if you believe Hitler was an atheist, I don't propagate Hitler's ideas. I have my own ideas. The difference between the people of the Crusades and Christians nowadays are just that they're not violent. They still share the same ideas.
Yeah, it's like saying comparing an atheist to Hitler is like comparing all Christians in today's society to the people who did the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes.
You can't compare the two because we have a more modern interpretation of either atheism or Christianity. That being said, the Christianity is still in its core just as barbaric as it was back then. It's just not propagated as much so anymore. But the God of the Old Testament is definitely a wrathful, vengeful, spiteful being. And
now, maybe let's try to play devil's advocate for a second, though. Like, try to argue for a point in which you could see Christianity being a valid form of endearment. Because, some people like to throw that argument at you that say, oh, I was a bad person, but then I found God, and it made me a better person, right?
Yeah,
like,
because
people say that all the time.
Yeah, well, it goes along with the whole that's what's great about religion, and I'm okay with saying that this is one of the great things about religion, is that you can cherry pick it. You shouldn't, but you can.
Oh, I mean, you can only do it because people accept it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. As long as it's widely okay to cherry pick this, and then it's, if a Christian wants to come up to me and say, God made me a good person, and that person is genuinely a good person, he doesn't do anything wrong, he might have been a convicted felon in the past, whatever he wants to do.
Would you say that really makes them a good person because they had to rely on an external force to make them that? Like, it wasn't their own choice at that point, like, right? Because they believe that God made them that way, that God kind of, by their accepting Jesus or God, or what, we're sticking with Christianity right now, so we'll just say that Jesus made them a better person. Well, if that's the case, then I would argue that they're not good people. Like to me, someone who's honestly good is doing it because they want to do it, because they want people to like them, or because they're not trying to get anything really out of it besides other human kindness. Like, they want to be respected, they want to treat other people with respect, and that's what it's about. It's subjective morality.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here a little bit too, because I'm trying to see this from all angles. I guess you could argue that they could not be doing it for something. They could have never been really brought up around Christianity or anything like that. And whenever they found Jesus, they could have seen things from a different point of view.
Mm-hmm.
They could have seen the world from a different point of view. and just kind of made them realize what they were doing wasn't the right thing to do, which is still their choice to feel that way. It's just Christianity helped them feel that way.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Trying to play devil's advocate here a little bit.
I mean, I could see that.
I still don't believe it takes religion to be a good person, because you and I are both atheists, and I believe full-heartedly that neither one of us are bad people.
Well, we'll let other people decide.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
That I believe that neither one of us are bad people.
Fair enough. Okay, what about Christianity as a whole? Okay, like,
As a whole, that's a different story.
well, as...
We need to move away from individuals and talk about the organization.
There we go. I was trying to get to the point that people try to say that it's somewhat the assembly, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's somewhat
It's the feeling of being accepted. I
feeling of
guess.
accepted. Yeah, the feeling that we're a community, that we all share something in common. That, but I would argue that this fake thing that none of us truly really seem to believe in, like, I mean, no Christian or no Catholic believes that they're eating the body of Christ or drinking the blood of Christ when they drink wine or eat a little wafer.
Yeah.
So, like, I would argue that no one really truly believes this crap. Or no, I'm calling it crap.
I mean, yeah.
No one believes this. That they truly don't believe this. I mean, I had a friend argue with me the other day, and he described subjective morality, and then he was trying to tell me that's what the Bible preaches. And then, like, when that's not at all what it preaches. It says that it's clearly the Word of God, and you should not.
You should take it as such.
Yeah, you should base. I forgot the exact quote, but it's you do not get to cherry pick this. And but people, like you said, are so willing to cherry pick it.
Yeah.
And
It's because it's accepted to do so.
as far as I can see, by all accounts, what the Bible would want you to do is stone a woman for a very wide variety of things. It equates women to cattle in the Ten Commandments. Why is rape not to rape people not in the Ten Commandments? How is worshiping a false idol somehow worse than letting people get raped or murdered?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Old Testament Deuteronomy, I don't remember the exact verse, but it does say that if a woman is not a virgin at the time of her marriage, her husband should take her to her father's doorstep and stone her to death along with all the men in the village. That is a Bible verse. It's in Deuteronomy. I don't know exactly which verse it is.
But we're gonna do
Yes.
we're gonna do all the research for all the claims we've made.
We will show all of this to you, the people. I want to bring up another point as well. The better question would be, I thought of this last night while I was just kind of laying in bed. Why do we need religion at this point in our lives? And we're sticking with Christianity, so why do we need Christianity? At its core, I think that the Bronze Age peasants that, started this faith did it because they didn't understand how the world worked. And I can be okay with that. They didn't have the sciences we do now. They didn't have the knowledge, the privilege of knowledge, because knowledge is a privilege we have nowadays.
I mean, undoubtedly. Well, looking at it, a hard part is the fact-checking of the sites.
Yes.
A lot of people you can post basically anything on the internet.
Yes, you can.
So you have to be a little wary of what you trust.
But back to my point. So originally, religion Christianity was to explain how we got here, how the world got here, how the universe got here.
Mm-hmm.
We now know how the universe got here. We have the Big Bang. We now know, thanks to
with a reasonable.
Well,
yes, reasonably.
We do understand how the universe started. We know how humans got here through, the theory of evolution and natural selection. Based upon what we are observing right now, this is our best answer, and until something else comes up, this is what we're going with.
And see, I feel like that's kind of what should have happened with Christianity. At some point, we should have been like, we need this because we have no other understanding of this world. As people started coming in with scientific explanations and verifying it with
Evidence
and experimentation and observation, you would think that they would have just looked at all this information and been like, you know what, yeah, that sounds great. Instead, they kill people. They just start murdering people, or exiling them, or imprisoning them, or.
What I think now is going back to the whole why do we require religion? Why do people need Christianity in their lives? Is it really because you're afraid of what happens after you die? Is that what it's boiling down to now? Because I feel like you can't prove anything in the Bible to be right. You can't prove it, and even if
most of the things that are in the Bible that are the feel good things, like the golden rule and such.
Yeah,
these are not original ideas. These have existed for long before
the Bible was ever
long
existed.
Before Christianity ever coined them, allegedly.
And who are Christians to say that atheists can't teach the golden rule without Christianity?
I would argue that
it's a man-made
most atheists
concept.
I've met have better understanding of their own morality than anyone else that I've ever met. It's
because it comes from ourselves. It doesn't
simply because they've thought about it.
Exactly.
Because they don't have a code. Because no atheist has a code of how to behave. They have to discern for themselves.
Exactly.
And when you've done this, when you've thought about why you make the choices you make, when you learn to accept yourself for who you truly are, and not what a book tells you to be, you'll be amazed at what kind of things you are actually capable of.
Mm-hmm. Like subscribing to the Jake Theists.
Yeah, we are not above shameless self-promotion.
In our next video, we're going to try to answer the question, do we really need religion at this point, by answering these other questions.
Does propagating an idea hold you responsible for those ideas?
Do Christians believe the same thing as the Christians of the Crusades do?
How violent is God?
Is religion really making people better?
Is morality subjective? Thank you for watching, and Saturday we should have this next video of research out for you guys. So appreciate it, and don't forget to subscribe. I did it again.